Hey.
That was abrupt. Are you ready? Okay, good. Click.
I could trim the very first couple of seconds.
No, this is perfect.
I feel bad, like, criticizing this movie considering what the other two went to go see. It's one of those rare...
You sent them.
I
already
did.
had a review and you sent them anyway.
Yeah, but this is one of those rare instances where I've also seen the other movie, so I know exactly what they saw, which is why I was trying not to laugh in the theater when about 30 minutes into our movie, I get that text from Irving that's... what the fuck was that? You finally crossed a line sending me to this. And I'm in the theater, like, kind of, like, shielded down, looking at my text, and I'm like that. And then an hour goes by, and I get one from Jake. Man, bro, that was, man, fuck. And then 45 minutes later, that thing was terrible, and I'm all jacked up on Surge.
Yeah, I didn't notice because I was too busy being mad at the lady on the other side of me who, rather than, like, covertly checking her phone, was holding it like this, so it was lighting up her big dumb face like she was holding a flashlight.
I was wondering what that light was going on over there, because...
It was Facebook McGillicuddy.
Okay, I honestly thought, because I couldn't see her or her phone, but I was seeing light reflecting, but I kind of thought, like, just the movie was reflecting off of, like, the rail or something like that, so I didn't really think anything of it.
Well, because, like, I was doing, like, I was being as aggressively passive-aggressive as I could, like, with the sighing and, like, the block in my face and, like, the looking at her Facebook.
I heard you doing that, but I thought it was about the movie.
No, this is the dense bitch that kicked a teenager out of her seats because she didn't...
Really?
Well, because there was a teenager next to us that was saving, granted, quite a few seats for her friends, and this lady just comes up and sits in them, and the teenager's like, I'm sorry, I'm saving those. She's like, you're not allowed to save seats.
Oh, yeah, you are.
I got here an hour early, and I'm not going to be dealing with this shit.
Oh, wait, I think I did hear that, but I thought it was... I was barely paying attention, so I just thought it was a couple teenagers giving each other shit.
Nope, it was a fully grown-ass woman who apparently had the time in her day to make a teenager cry.
That's amazing. It was a really crowded theater.
That's why I sent you that text, like, I don't know who is more insufferable in this theater, and I'm pretty sure Facebook McGillicuddy won, despite the fact that there are people behind us talking loudly and enthusiastically about mustache curlers, blood diamonds, Rolex watches, and the correct way to pronounce Helena Bonham Carter.
Is it Helena Bonham Carter? I don't get this name.
It's Bonham.
You could have turned around and, like, asked them to stop talking, like, in Risky Business.
In Risky Business, I let them talk until the front credits started rolling, and they stopped talking about mustache curlers at that point. Facebook McGillicuddy continued to check her goddamn Facebook. Yeah,
this was before the movie started when she sent me a text because you didn't want to say it out loud.
Nope.
So all of a sudden my phone goes off and I look down and it says from Sarah and I'm like, did Sarah accidentally text me about something?
I'm passing you notes in class, Brett.
And then I answer her loudly. I'm like, oh, it's the people behind us, obviously.
Good call, man. Good call. Crap, now it's us.
This crowd was annoying, but...
Yeah, there was, like, the big audible gasp and, like, the laughing.
Laughing at really weird points.
It was a really weird point to laugh. Plus, at the beginning, like, one of the poor little usher boys had to come out and, like, read trivia questions, and they were loudly answering with joke answers. Like, one of the questions was, where does Katniss's name come from? Or what is Katniss named after? And one of the girls goes, Jesus!
The guy only gave 2 questions this time. He did that at the first Hunger Games, or whoever worked here at the time did it in front of the first Hunger Games.
They have to draw straws.
Yeah, and it was like then it was a bunch of questions, and they were all spoiler heavy.
Look, in what order do the tributes die?
I think that might have been one of them, or like who was the first one to die, or something like that. And then it was like, what are the name of the berries that killed Wes Bentley's character? I'm like, an easy rephrasing of that could have been, what were the names of the berries?
It was just the one berries.
Yeah.
Okay, so we saw Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. It was passable. I read all three of the books, and it's been a while since I've read them, but I recall loving the first two and really not liking the third one, which will be more evident in part two because some bullshit stuff happens. But I basically called it PTSD the book. Did you consider this PTSD the movie?
No.
Yeah, because there's a lot in the book where Katniss is just like in a catatonic stupor because some shit went down. And I think in this, they kind of muscled past that a little faster than they did in the book. Hello.
They're coming to the next showing. We came to the first showing. There's like 20 showings tonight.
Good God. People had posters. We didn't get posters.
Oh, what the fuck?
Right?
Maybe they're still giving out identical posters.
But, there's not much to say about it. It's
There's
just kind of,
not.
you were saying outside the theater that it felt very stretched out, and I tend to agree with you. It was really pretty, as pretty as a slate gray movie can be, but it's most of it takes place in a bunker in District 13, which is kind of like the militarized district, so everyone's in like speed suits, and even Effie Trinket is like in all gray with like a gray turban. So
But still flamboyant as hell.
yes, she had her little eyebrows dyed blonde.
Yeah, like, I mean, I honestly enjoyed the first two movies, and this movie has the same problems that I have with every single fucking movie that does this, where it splits one book up into two fucking movies. Because there's about 50 minutes of this movie that are really fucking good, and it should have been just that 50 minutes and then the rest of the book.
With this one, it does make sense to me, like less so the last Twilight book, but
Or Harry Potter.
or Harry Potter. The second part of this book is very eventful.
Yeah.
So, like, if they tried to squeeze it all into one movie, I think it would have felt like that Half-Blood Prince, the movie, that the Harry Potter one that they kind of ended up feeling way too rushed because there was just so much stuff to cram into one movie. It's just, I wish that there was some middle ground between, splitting up into two and, patting the shit out of it and mooshing it all down into one.
Because it's the same thing that regardless of if the movie's good or bad, because Lord knows you could have put Twilight into one movie and it probably wouldn't have been very good, but so that aside, like, it's the same thing where you have one movie that's just set up and it really doesn't have much of a structure to it in terms of a 3-act structure. So I couldn't tell when this fucking thing was nearing an end, nearing any kind of climax, because there isn't a climax. And when that happens, whether it's Harry Potter or anything else that's done that, you have what the next movie might be. I don't know, but you have a second movie that is just one giant climax. And like it's like you said, there has to be some middle ground. I don't know, making it 2.5 hours or anywhere between 2.5 and 3. Fuck, the second Hunger Games movie was a 2.5 hour movie.
Well, this one was 2 hours exactly, I think you said.
Yeah, it was about 2 hours exactly. And at one point I looked down at my phone and I was like, fuck, this thing's got like a half an hour left. I'm so bored. Oh, and I just don't like it when that happens, because rarely is it ever because, oh my god, it's just got so much great shit in it that it has to be 2 movies. It's because they want to make double their fucking money. That's it. They want to make double their fucking money by splitting shit into 2 movies, even if you've essentially ruined what could have been a pretty decent trilogy of movies. So, there's stuff about this movie that I like. There is. For the most part, like the acting. I like 99% of the acting in this.
Do tell.
Man, Jennifer Lawrence sucked in this. No, she's great. The supporting cast, for the most part, is really good. I mean, it's got the same characters as the other movies, and it's a good supporting cast.
Oh, is it Gale?
I can't stand Liam Hemsworth. Oh my fucking
I was sitting
god.
here like, who is it? Who is it, Brad? Suspense. Oh,
Really?
wait, probably the plank of wood with the face drawn on it.
Him! Oh my god. That guy is out. Liam Hemsworth is out of place in movies he stars in. oh God, there's no point to this character. There's no point to him being in this fucking movie. He has no chemistry with anyone who acts opposite him. And dear God, Jennifer Lawrence is trying so hard with this motherfucker. And he is giving her nothing. He is so giving her nothing to work with.
Well, because I think Gail was left into the third one to kind of keep the love triangle going.
Oh.
But it's PETA. Of course it's PETA.
Uh-huh. It so doesn't need to. I mean, granted, it's not the worst love triangle I've seen in one of these movies.
I don't think she needs to end up with either.
No, I totally fucking agree with you on that. There does not need to be this shit in this fucking movie. No, it's not as trite as fucking Twilight, but it's still fucking pointless.
Uh-huh. Well, plus, like, the character Katniss in the books, she's kind of just going along with the romances that she's in, you know, and she's kind of like, yeah, okay, I guess I love him, you know?
Uh-huh. Why not?
We've been through enough shit, we may as well.
Uh-huh.
But it's not like the romance of the ages. It's just kind of like this really strong, kind of emotionally stunted, fucked up girl, and the two dudes who want to bang her.
Yeah, right. You know, that's why I really, really love Indiana Jones and Willie Scott. That movie was honest. They just wanted to bang.
Yeah.
There was no romance there.
There was romance. I've told you this before.
In Temple of Doom?
I hated this movie until I realized that Short Round was the romantic interest.
Oh, well, yeah.
And Willie Scott was the comedy relief.
Oh,
Because if you
absolutely.
look at it that way, it's a sweet fucking movie. Because, like, you know, they have their moments together.
Yeah.
No, Indy, bad, don't drink.
Yeah, they have their little breakup moment.
Indy, I love you. On fire.
Wake up! Wait, he's mine. I'm all right, kid. Wink.
Go wink. See, now that's chemistry.
Yes. Fuck yeah. And as two people who just wanted to just fucking bang, Indiana Jones and Willie Scott have great chemistry. If this movie was just really honest about that, I would have been like, all right, it's a time of war. You still gotta fuck.
Uh-huh.
But the parts of this movie that I enjoyed, other than, like, most of the acting, really all the acting just except for Liam Hemsworth. The rest of the acting I like just fine. Mm-hmm. I do have a soft spot in my heart for, like, watching, like, old war propaganda, whether it's like the old cartoon World War II cartoons, or those old silly movies like Hitler Dead or Alive, where the dude kicks open the plane door and shoots down a Nazi plane with a Tommy gun. I like that old stuff. I do. And a lot of this movie is kind of about the making of a propaganda film. Uh-huh. And I liked that. That's really like the 50 minutes of this movie that I enjoyed. I thought it was clever. I thought it was kind of cool that this is in the future, but they're using tactics of old propaganda movies, but certainly a lot more future-based. Whether it's the technology or the weaponry or stuff like that. But I liked little touches like they put her on camera to do this scripted propaganda piece, but it turns out she's a bad actress.
She's a terrible actress.
Yeah.
Well, because, too, they're kind of having to use the Capitol's tactics against them.
Yeah.
The first two, it's very propaganda-heavy from the Capitol side. So
yeah.
I like that they knew to do war not just on the ground, but also in the hearts and minds of men.
Oh, yeah. Whether it's like their armor and shit has built-in cameras where they're taking her through...
that guy from She's All That, who I love so much every time he shows up.
Is that the guy from, like, the Mighty Ducks, who was, like, the big dude?
The blonde guy?
Yeah, who had his tongue cut out?
Yeah.
Him, okay.
Vox guy.
Okay, yeah.
He was in She's All That. He was a friend of J.D. Box.
There was a couple parts where it was making me laugh because he's just got his tongue cut out, yet he's kind of acting like a 10-year-old. Like he's like, like, yes, that's a Mockingjay. I'm like, what? Okay, is he Forrest Gump now?
Well, it looked like he definitely knew sign
Oh yeah,
language.
he did sign language.
It looked like it was basically he signed it his friend, like, oh yeah, she's real pretty in the face.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think that was just him trying to communicate with her and her not knowing sign language. Like, check out my pin. I like your pin. Why don't you sing a song for me?
I read that as more, he's a simple singer.
He's not simple. He's just dumb.
How's he written in the book?
I don't remember.
How long ago did you read the book?
Before the first movie came out, I read the first book and then the second and third one. Well, I listened to them on the Audible.
Oh, okay.
But I don't remember much about Castor and Pollux and Cressida.
Oh,
honestly.
the
Other
two
than
brothers from
Natalie Dormer-
Face Off. I know exactly who those two are. This movie,
Face Off.
This movie's about to get dark. Let's see you do
Movie's
this.
about to get zany.
Hell yeah! They did look a little like the prison from Face Off in
It's
parts.
missing the big old space boots.
Yeah, it was missing the space boots and like the
What's his face?
Joe Bob Briggs.
Yes. No, that wasn't the sheriff from True Blood in that. No, I'm thinking of 8mm.
Nice. Oh man, if this movie went 8mm, like she's watching a snuff film of PETA or something that they broadcast. Oh my god!
What were you expecting?
I would have leaned over like, what did you dislike about this book? This is amazing.
No, that's what's in the book.
This is whatever. This is great.
Taking some serious liberties, and I like it.
I mean, it's certainly a darker, bleaker film than the other two. I appreciated that about the movie. Tonally, it's way different. Tonally, yeah, I mean, I mean, I don't think by and large this is fully like a PTSD movie, like you said. I mean, especially when compared to something like Coming Home or something like that. But there are touches of that in this. The movie opens with that. And I kind of I did like those moments. Honestly, I could have used a little more of those moments, but it is a darker film to look at. It's not as colorful as the other movies, and I appreciate that because while the other two movies were kind of satirical in regards to reality television, this one more so about, you know, war and propaganda and everything like that. And I liked that about the movie, but then there's the rest of the movie that just sludged, that just was just so fucking padded, and some of it could have been cut, whether it's long scenes where where Hemsworth is just walking and talking through like ruins and shit, or the ending scene where they're going in through the skyscraper, which could have been cut in half. Like, it's just so
Well, I think they're trying to let, sorry, I keep sniffling, I have a cold. They were trying to let Fennec finish his whole speech about, like, how he used to be basically a prostitute in the Capitol.
Even that went really long for me. I was like, okay, this speech was
I was enthralled, but Fennec is one of my favorite characters.
Oh, I mean, he's fine. As a character, he's fine, but even that speech, I was like, he feels like he's been talking for it feels like he's been talking for about 20 minutes. This movie's not as bad as, I mean, I don't think it's a bad film. I just think it's an unfortunate product of the people who made it who just want to make some extra money on a movie that would have brought in billions anyway.
I tend to agree.
It's not it's not a bad movie. It's not as, like, movies like Breaking Dawn Part 1, of course, is worse than this.
They want to make sure you see every aspect of their wedding.
Oh, yeah, the Deer Hunter had a shorter wedding sequence than that. Fucking Christ. I mean, admittedly, like, Breaking Dawn Part 2 had some magical moments in it.
Which I still need to see that movie just for
You've never seen
Michael.
that?
No,
Oh, that's the best one.
I've heard it to be so.
Oh, by far and away, that's the best one. For Michael Sheen. Fuck yeah. If fucking Michael Sheen pops up in Mockingjay Part 2, I'll be like, alright, this first movie was worth it.
I'm at a loss as to who we could play.
I don't care. He can play his same character from Twilight.
I guess he could play Plutarch Hornsby, or...
That sounds like a Michael Sheen character.
No, that was the guy that died.
In this
Philip
movie?
Seymour
Hoffman.
Hoffman.
Oh, okay. I forgot his character's name.
Plutarch Melonsby? It's something stupid like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the movie does. Even the other ones have characters with silly names,
Yes.
but there's some of them are very intentionally
Fennec,
silly
and there's
characters.
Katniss and there's PETA.
President Coin. What? Oh, speaking of President, Donald Sutherland's fucking great, as he always is in these movies.
Oh yeah.
Like President Hans Gruber.
President Snow with his mouth sores and his roses.
Oh, he was amazing in this.
I
Like,
thought that the kid who played Peter did a really good job.
he got fucking skinny and gaunt as fuck. Yeah, he
Just
put.
like on the constant verge of tears.
Yeah. Yeah. This was, of the three movies, and I didn't think he was bad in the other movies, but in this one, what he did to himself physically for the role and appearance is certainly commendable.
Do we know that he actually did that, or was it? Because I thought maybe it might have been like a Chris Evans in the beginning of Captain America type of computer trickery.
If that's the case, I take back everything I just said.
Because you only see him skinny for like a little. Because like there's that last bit of propaganda he did where his neck is like. This big around.
I mean, maybe those were some, like, oddly lit scenes, because it's in that bunker. So, okay, maybe. I mean, if that's the case, it wasn't as obvious to me in this as it was in Captain America.
Well, Captain America was just like, hey, check out my tiny little body. Whereas in this, it was just kind of like you saw the circumference of his arm as he moved, and like, again, his neck was like that big around. So I could see them being able to pull it off a little more realistically if that was indeed the case. And it does seem odd for him to have gotten that skinny just for the last 5 minutes.
Throughout the whole movie, though, he was progressively getting skinnier.
Yeah, because like that first one, he had like enough chin fat that he kept poking himself with that ridiculous tie that he was wearing. And yeah, he did definitely get progress. So maybe he did. Because it makes sense for in the next movie for him to be that fucking gaunt.
Yeah, I mean,
So
if he
maybe he
did,
did.
respect. Like, if he did, I give him respect.
One of those Hollywood cleanses.
And poor Woody Harrelson having to give up drinking for... I liked that little arc. Poor Woody Harrelson. There's
Yeah, they didn't happen to give you any medication or anything.
oh man, she freaking the president's fine except for the whole prohibition thing. Like, man, that sucks. Sorry, dude.
Which, you have to consider the implications of if they do indeed win District 13, the only district that is militarized now will be in complete control.
Yeah, and that was something I enjoyed about the movie because, like, yes, certainly while this is not, as evil as the people that they're fighting against, they certainly have a lot of traits of what could later become a pretty violent dictatorship.
Oh, yeah.
In the scene where they're pretty much send in a suicide mission to blow up that dam, and the fact that they're...
So I didn't feel like that was orchestrated by District 13. I felt like that was District 5 doing that on their own.
Okay, I can see that. But I mean, other than that, even like the fact that they are all dressed the same, living in this underground bunker, living in this world that looks not unlike something like 1984, and even, Julianne Moore at the end giving a speech that sounds like, I mean, yeah, this is certainly not a character like President Snow, but they're still doing, like, salutes and chants and everything.
And there's even the progression of her character, because at the beginning, her speech is very cut and dry. Hello, everyone, here's the information that I have for you to digest and make of it as you will. And then Plutarch
Melonball.
Yeah, Plutarch Melonballer, because they're like, you gotta jazz it up a little bit, and then by the end, she's like carrying herself a little more prissy, and she's given the speech that he gave her, so you could definitely see how that could progress in a capital.
How things could go really wrong.
Really, really poorly.
Over the course of time. So there is a lot of stuff I did enjoy about this, but fuck. Maybe even if they split it up into two movies, but if like maybe 40 minutes of it were cut. I don't know, but it was just felt so unnecessary that this is its own movie, and I mean I don't know about this. I haven't read the book, so is the second movie going to be just one big giant climax?
No.
Well, that's nice. That's nice at least.
I don't know to what extent you want me to spoil it for you.
Just in that, like, you know how like pretty much that very last Harry Potter movie was basically just one big action scene. Like that.
No.
Well, that's good at least. I mean, there is that. Of course, I haven't seen what the next one's gonna be, but just judging by this, man, I really just so wish this wasn't 2 movies.
I did kind of hope that, like, we're gonna get into spoiler territory, obviously, but at the end of this movie, there's a point where, like, they've rescued PETA from the big bads, and they've got him in the room, and she goes in, and knowing what was going to happen when he wakes up, I was kind of hoping that, like, he'd jump up, strangle her until unconsciousness, end of the movie.
That's what I was that's where I was hoping it was going to end, because I haven't read the book, so I didn't expect that. So when that happened, I was, Jesus, dude, chill, man. Like, but when
That's
he
when
was,
the audience burst out laughing, by the way, which was a little obnoxious.
yeah, and when he was strangling her and she looked all but dead, I would have been like, oh, if it cuts to black here and that says the end, sweet. Like, I would have been like,
Sold
right
for every
on.
movie.
Yeah, I've been like, that's all right, that's fine, that's pretty cool. But no, it didn't do that. It kept going for a little bit when she's got a neck brace on that made the audience cackle like crazy. Like maybe I'm missing something. I haven't read the book. Is
Neck
this a
braces
funny
are
scene?
hilarious.
They're so funny. This stupid audience, man. Like, at the beginning of, before the movie started, when it was showing, like, not a trailer, but, like, a little, like, sing-along with the Minions from Despicable Me, the audience was kind of singing along with it in that kind of gibberish, so it just, we were sitting in the very back of this very crowded theater, and so it looked and sounded just like the scene in Gremlins when they're sitting in the movie theater singing along with Snow White.
I could definitely see that. Teenage girls.
Quite a bit.
And obnoxious grown-ass ladies.
And me.
And Brad.
And some old
Wait,
dude
hang
in
on.
front of me.
Who am I in this scenario? I guess I'm an obnoxious grown-ass lady. I was sighing really loudly.
I guarantee you weren't as much as Irving and Jake probably were at Saving Christmas.
I was gonna say, like, I do like the idea of sending all of us to see the same movie, just because I think that'll show the different ways we review it. Because, like, for example, I bet that this Jake and Irving review is going to be a lot angrier and racist than your guys as well.
Well, I guarantee you will not be more racist than the movie was.
If Irving was here, he'd say challenge accepted.
That's why I'm saying this after he's reviewing it. Because he will take that challenge, and I'll have to cut everything.
But me and Brian are going to go try and see it. He's busy because he's been moving house.
Yeah, there's a move going on, but hopefully Brian will have his, we'll find out just how he too can save Christmas.
And if not, I'll go see it for myself. And it'll be the saddest review in Christendom.
That's a sad story.
Just beat me in the car.
I've had to do solo reviews in the car before. It is lonely. It's so lonely. Like, oh God, there was one time when I said, like, to Jillian, I was like, can you be in the car with me? Because I don't want to talk about Blended by myself in a car.
We really do need to make that Brian Lewis standee that we were talking about making.
Oh God, I would look like a crazy person.
So, Brian, what did you think of Blended? Right out of your Brad, why did you tell me what you talking about, Blended?
Suddenly, it's the movie Dead Silence. That's a good movie. You never saw that with the creepy ventriloquist dummies? It's got Donnie Wahlberg in it. It's a good movie. You'd probably like that one.
Probably.
I mean, if you're like, unless you're like, I don't want to see it because it's got dolls in it.
I want to see it because it's got Donnie Wahlberg in it.
What? He's keeping the car warm for Mark Wahlberg.
Poor imaginary Donnie in the world of imaginary Mark Wahlberg.
In the world of Dan Van Kirk's Mark Wahlberg.
Just driving the car on the block, waiting for him to finish.
I don't really have anything else to say about it.
I'm about done. It's like, if you watch the first two, you might as well go see it.
I wouldn't recommend a full price for it. Like, if you've seen the first two and you like them and you're intent on seeing it in the theater, then I would say, like, a matinee at best. Other than that, I would just recommend it as a rental.
Yeah, maybe like rent it right before the second one comes out.
That's not a bad idea.
And watch it right before the second one.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Trailers.
Okay. Should have just gone by the light of Facebook lady. Project Almanac.
Oh my god. I got the trailer for this a year ago.
It looked really familiar.
It was called something else. It was called Welcome to Tomorrow.
Okay.
If you got the trailer for Welcome to Tomorrow a year ago, and you were like, where did that movie go? Well, it's called Project Almanac now, and it was obviously delayed quite a bit. A found footage time travel movie.
By Michael Bay.
Yeah, it's a Platinum Dunes movie. That looked so... if it wasn't fucking found footage, I might have been like, eh. Oh, okay, if it wasn't found footage and I didn't see the trailer a year ago when it was under a different title.
That's never a good sign.
No,
if you've got
it's
an example
not.
of a movie that gets delayed a year and then turns out to be awesome, let me know in the comments.
I kind of liked Hard Rain with Christian Slater, where the trailers for that came out a year before it came out, and it was called The Flood. Whatever happened to The Flood?
It's Hard Rain caused it.
Admittedly, Hard Rain, a better title.
This kind of looked like Butterfly Effect to me.
It did.
This is kind of the stone cold bummer aspect of time travel.
Yeah. This trailer had more shenanigans in it than the other trailer, because the other trailer was just straight up thriller. This one's showing them like winning the lottery and like doing pranks on their past selves.
But then like they lose a girl, she like falls into the time stream or something.
And it's found footage, and I don't even and there are some found footage movies I like, but this is really stretching that, this is all getting filmed. That looks bad.
Hobbit.
Yeah, I'll be at that movie.
Yeah, I won't be at that movie.
The shortest one of all of them.
This is probably the one where Evangeline Lilly's character's gonna die.
This is probably what we were talking about earlier, where this is all just going to be a giant battle scene. It's 2.5 hours, so it's the shortest one out of all of them. I liked the second one, which was a mixture probably of low expectations, and at least it wasn't a Medea Christmas.
Plus Smoog.
Yeah, he was good.
I never did read The Hobbit. Alex has lent it to me 5 times at this point, and every time I get 5 pages, I'm like, this is an awful lot of descriptions of hobbits and no real plot line.
Just another wow, this does not need to be split up into multiple movies. So, I liked the second one, so maybe. I'll be at it because I saw the other ones.
I'll put you down for a maybe. Then we got the preview that our entire audience burst into applause for, Pitch Perfect 2.
That's a Brian movie.
And then I've got in parentheses, David Cross.
That didn't surprise me, because he's in all the Chipmunks movies.
I've heard that Pitch Perfect 1 isn't actually that bad. And I do like Anna Kendrick.
I like Anna Kendrick.
I like that big, pretty, sassy British girl.
I like her in some things. I liked her in Pain and Gain.
She was good in Pain and Gain.
She was really good in
And she
Pain
looks
and Gain.
funny in Night at the Museum.
Fuck that. That's
me.
all
That's
you.
all me.
That is all you. We've gotten that trailer before quite a few times, and anytime it gets brought up, we're all like, Sarah called dibs. We don't need to talk about this.
I'm gonna rewatch the other one. It's gonna be the best day.
I didn't like I don't even know if I saw the second one, but I wasn't really a fan of the first one, so this looks like something I don't want to see.
It's hijinksy. I like a hijinksy movie. Oh, okay. Annie, which we've talked about before.
Yeah.
And then, Mordecai. I spelled it wrong. I left the T out.
Yeah, Mordecai, obviously with a T.
Yes. Which,
actually, I think that looks funny.
It kind of looks like those twit sketches that they used to do on Monty Python.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's just basically this is what's wrong with the British aristocracy. And also we're solving a mystery.
It's that crossed with, Johnny Depp as, what was that spy character Rowan Atkinson played?
Johnny Dangerously?
No, I almost said that, but no, that's Michael Keaton.
It's a similar name, though.
Johnny... Fucking, there's 2 of them.
Johnny Beantown.
Fuck. We'll know what it is by the time... Oh, shit, we only got 5 minutes left.
Detective Bean. Okay.
Detective Bean. But I like looking forward to a Johnny Depp movie, and it's been a while since I've said that.
I don't know. I think it looks like it might be really, really dumb. It looked kind of Dark Shadowsy.
Oh, I think
And
it was
that turned
better
to be
than
kind
that.
of disappointing. And then Insurgent, which is
Oh.
the second in the Divergent series.
Yeah, that preview came on. I was like, oh, I forgot about this whole thing. I didn't see most of that trailer because I had to use the restroom. Did it look any good?
It looked to be basically just a dream sequence that they played, because it was her jumping across like falling, flaming buildings to save her mom who died in the first one. So yeah, I think it was just a dream sequence that they showed,
Oh.
which like I got a little bit through the book, and it's just basically them walking slowly away from the city, as
Oh,
far as I
okay.
got. So probably it's gonna start a bit slow. Maybe it'll pick up. I'll definitely get the book finished reading by the time the movie comes out, but
I remember thinking the first one was passable.
the first one was good.
Yeah,
I liked it.
I remember I remember thinking that was all right, and I honestly like Shailene Woodley in what the few things that I've seen her in.
Oh, she was really good in Fault in Our Stars.
She was really good in that. When she pops up on Craig Ferguson, she's very funny. Okay, I'm sure I'll be at that movie. I didn't see a lot of the trailer. I saw the very beginning of the trailer where I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool haircut on her.
Yeah, the trailer tells you nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
I could review the piss I took instead of watching the trailer.
How was the piss you took, Brad?
It burned so bad.
That's the
God
Surge.
damn you, Surge.
It glows in the dark now.
Sweet. Well, that's Mockingjay Part 1.
What do we got next week?
Penguins of Madagascar and Horrible Bosses 2.
That's you and Jake.
Yeah, that's me and Jake territory. See ya.
Bye.
Johnny English.